Welcome, Lizhen. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining this chat session. So today we're going to discuss the topic of women in tech and also diversity and inclusion, because not only you're a woman working in the tech sector, but you're also the general manager for HackYourFuture in Belgium. So you're going to tell us a little bit more about this in a minute, but you know a lot about the challenges that diverse talents face in the tech industry, especially in Belgium. So thank you so much for taking the time. Can you start with a shorter introduction about who you are and what is your current role at Hack Your Future?
Yes, hello Mathilde. Hello everyone. So my name is Lizhen. I am French from Chinese origin. So my role is the general manager of HackYourFuture, which is a coding school for asylum seekers and refugees. And our main mission is to help highly motivated newcomers find a job in the tech sector.
Great. And how did you get in the tech sector in the first place? Can you tell us a little bit more about your journey?
Yes, in fact, I have a background in recruitment and skill analysis. So I worked for the United Nations for about 10 years, and I found myself in a new country that is Belgium, um, having to start completely from scratch. And I realized, okay, everyone's talking about AI, everyone is talking about programming. So what is all this about? So it's out of curiosity that I started really doing research, going to conferences, and by chance I met someone who offered me a job as the head of campus of a coding school because of my background in green jobs recruitment and skill analysis. So that's how it all started. Um, I have to say it's quite challenging in terms of because it was completely new to me. But I like the idea that one can learn. You are in a new country, new languages, new network. Well, I had no network. I didn't know anyone.
Mhm.
So, and the issue is that when I was starting looking for a job, I was always offered jobs for which I was way overqualified. And I realized how difficult it was for a woman who has no knowledge in tech, uh, no network, to start completely from scratch. But I was lucky and perhaps yeah, to find a job that I like. So I thought I could maybe share some of that with the other newcomers that are in the same situation.
Nice. So you also join your two passion or interest, because you worked first for the United Nation, and then your interest in tech. And it's interesting that you were talking about the fact that a lot of jobs that were offered to you, you were overqualified. We see this a lot, of course, with women. Do you think it's something that is specific also to the tech industry, that it happens even more? It's one of the challenge for the women in the tech industry.
It is, I think, a challenge for all sectors uh, because what is different is that being a woman, at some point in your career, you have to make this decision, which is always very, very difficult, and also depends, of course, of each person, choosing between your family or work. So, to which do you give priority? And the social pressure and also the cultural pressure is that most of the time the women will choose the family. Since we're dealing with newcomers as well, it is even stronger in some culture. That is, of course, so of course, then you are not going to look for a job, or at least just take any job. But the priority should go to your partner. So this being said, the other aspect that is very specific to women is that we tend to self-censor ourselves.
Mhm.
We keep telling ourselves, I cannot do that, or this, I have no idea how this works. So even not even started to apply, not waiting for anyone to say no to you. We have already put the limit ourselves. So that's maybe one of the specifics.
Yeah, and that's something also that we heard a lot because, of course, at Templeton Partners, we also do a lot of webinar and women. We talk a lot about the impostor syndrome that a lot of women face more than men. Of course, it happens also to men, but women especially, they have a big imposter syndrome that they think if they see a job and they meet only 90% of the requirements, they will not apply because of the 10%, while men tend to apply with jobs that they have they don't meet all the requirements, and that's something also that I hope is gonna change in the future. And it's good to talk also with women with your career because of course it's still possible to have an amazing career in tech. And can you tell us more also about your current role because so you got this opportunity and now you're general manager of HackYourFuture. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you do and in a bit more detail, what is HackYourFuture?
Yes. So as I mentioned, our mission is really to help the highly motivated newcomers. They're often from refugee background or the asylum seekers. We are actually the only actor in Belgium who offer this free training for asylum seekers. The legislation is that in Belgium, once someone asks for asylum for protection, the first 4 months, they cannot, there's little thing they can do. They cannot study, they cannot work. And we know now from experience that if you want people to get integrated, it is at the beginning, right after the arrival, that the activation should be done. Because after 4 months, people get discouraged, or they found that the social system is here and very quite advantageous in Belgium. So the likelihood that they're going to get integrated professionally at the level of their potential is very low. So we decided to organize this training with mainly volunteer coaches who are experts in the tech field. So they no longer only are knowledgeable about the technical skills, but also they're knowledgeable about the expectations from the market. And we've been doing that since 2018 with quite a number of great success, with people who came with no knowledge at all in programming, who are now working as web developer in many companies such as Capgemini, Accenture. We have also some people in smaller company like Describe or Sweetpatic. So this is the reason why we are still doing it. There was a recent research done which showed that the EU is wasting billions of money because of the brain waste of all these people that are highly educated that comes to Belgium, but they cannot find job to the level of potential simply because either the diploma is not being recognized. Second is their status. If they are, that the status is not confirmed, company will not hire them. The third one is the ability to be able to show a document, the diploma. If you have fled your country because of war, lots of institutions are no longer functioning, so it's difficult to get those documentations. And then the fourth one is the language barrier. Because in Belgium, you have to learn either Dutch or French.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you just arrived here running from war, it takes time to learn the language. So the tech sector is actually the best entry level, I would say, for people who have a level of English.
Yeah, and that also shows that there is still a lot of work to do regarding inclusion and diversity, because a lot of companies, we are being in the tech sector, and you also have experience in recruitment. we know that companies are looking for these talents, and the talents are there, but there is a gap in between. And thankfully, with Hack Your Future, you're having a successful story also, and helping closing this gap. And you mentioned some of the challenges that they face. So, for example, that when they arrive, they cannot work directly, and then during these 4 months, it's harder to adapt to the culture if you're not working directly, or at least being in a training. And also regarding documents and everything, is there any other challenge that you see in general with diverse talents or refugees or women in general that they face in the tech industry to get a job?
I will say that it's changing the mentality. You know, as a recruiter, we always have this biggest bias, is that we often try to hire people that are like us because we can project. So for recruiters who are always used to work a certain way, especially for junior recruiters who are given like a template, you know, with questions to ask the candidates, our candidates from other countries with different culture, they will never pass through the first selection because they're not prepared. The expectations are different. So what is very important is also maybe change a bit the mindset of the recruiter to actually go out of the box. But there is work to be done from both sides, adapting to each other. To just give you one example, last time one of our candidates from Sudan went to an interview and he was wearing a cap like up to here, like a basketball cap. So at the end of the interview, the recruiter, I had a debriefing with the recruiter, and she told me he was so disrespectful because he was wearing this cap. I couldn't see his eyes. So this is not right, not the right attitude. So I went to speak to that candidate, and I told him, why are you wearing this cap? Because usually you are very well dressed, and you know. And he told me, well, it's because I had a bad hair day, and out of respect to the recruiter, I didn't want her to see my hair. So that is why I was wearing this cap. So if you don't know, you know, the cultural aspect of it, you can misinterpret what he meant by. So this is one point. And one of the candidates, also a student that were hired recently by the province of Antwerp, which is a government job, she told me the language was an issue because they wanted her to be fluent. But she said after 2 years of intensive training, she said, I understand, I can write, but I cannot be fluent. So I started the interview by just putting whatever I think is not good from me. I just mentioned to them also in Dutch, yeah, I'm sorry, but mijn Nederlands is niet vlot, is niet goed genoeg. And then she said, I already said that I wasn't good in Dutch, so they couldn't give me that argument for not hiring me. So anyway, she was hired later on, and now they're super happy. But I think that when you don't have like a typical profile that is expected, when you have, you know how as a recruiter, we always look at the CV and we always say, okay, there's a gap, so we need to find out why. And this is not straightforward, why this person keeps changing jobs. But for the case of refugees, there are many gaps. And there are many experience that we cannot translate, or transferable skills are not so obvious. So it is for them actually to be able to showcase and to be able to explain the story, the journey. And that's how it could work, I believe.
Yeah, and there is a lot of work still to do, but that's also I agree with you that that's also our responsibility. So of course at Templeton and Partners as a IT provider, and me personally as a consultant, I think you're right when you say that it's really important to always discuss with the candidate, to listen to the story and not only look at the CV. And that's something that we do every day, like spend time with the candidate, understand the person, understand the culture, and also help them to prepare the interview. Um, Explain them also the culture of the company, if we know the company, and give them all of this advice, because then they're going to have more tools to go to the interview and to get this job. So it's totally something that is important also on our side to do and to prepare, to give them more chances. And you just told us about the candidate that got the job. Do you have any other success story, or what is your main achievement in your career or at HackYourFuture? Something that you really proud of?
Yeah, actually, you know, I worked 10 years for the United Nations in different locations, and I've done many projects linked to circular economy and environmental issue. But I have to admit that the proudest project I've worked on is now HackYourFuture, because it's in the beginning I was volunteering, then it became a job when I was put on the payroll. But for me now, I feel like it's also a mission, because I'm getting a lot out of it as well. You know, just by the number of people I meet with amazing journey, amazing story. Um, I mean, lots of testimonial of strength, of resilience, and this positive attitude also from some of them after all they've been through. That gives me like lots of energy. And it is a job also where I can see the result, because each time someone finds a job and then comes back as a coach for the new students, I found that amazing. You know, and you could see also that like the physical transformation of that person when they first came, you know, to follow the courses after they found a job after 2 years, and coming back, and they are sharing also their story. And it's just, yeah, I don't think until now, I think it's the best job I have. Yeah, so I love it.
Well,
So
congratulations. Then
yes, thank
that's
you.
always nice. And of course, also when we were first in touch, and I heard about HackYourFuture, and I had the chance to have a quick chat with you. I believe the mission that you're doing, and the goal of your company is of course amazing. And also that you're growing a lot. It's gonna give more and more chances to people that are asking for asylum in Belgium. So that's of course something you should be proud of.
Yes.
Um, and would you give any advice to people that are refugee in Belgium, or women in tech, or diverse people, on how they can start their career in tech?
Yes. Um, I believe that the first thing is to know exactly what your limits are. And that is quite difficult. Recently, for instance, I had a woman who had 4 children and she was alone. Um, 4 children from the age of 1 to 5. And even though we really wanted her to take her, we knew it was impossible for her to follow the classes. So being realistic, setting realistic goal, know your potential, and don't give up. One of our students, Katrina from Ukraine, she was trained as an architect back home, uh, but she couldn't find jobs when she arrived. So she had to take up a job to pay her bills. She worked as a cleaning lady for 2 years, but she followed our classes online, and she looked for a job for 8 months. She was about to give up, and her husband said, well, you tried, it's not succeeding, so you have to stop now. And she said, well, let me give me some more time, let me try again. So she told us she sent out about like 280 um, applications, and 2 came in. So it
Wow.
just takes, sometimes 1 or 2% to give her a chance. And now she's working as a front end developer,
Yeah.
and she's now back also as a coach. So you already so far you've done already so much, and if you believe in your potential, you can do it. Just don't give up. Step by step, and at one point you will succeed.
Yeah, and again, totally agree with this, especially for people who are either more junior or moving into a new country. And I think it applies to everyone, not only, of course, in tech, not to give up, because it's not because you send your CV to 10 companies and you didn't get feedback that it means the job is not out there for you. And the market is also changing a lot. A lot of things can yeah, there is a lot of things that can happen, and a lot of reason why they cannot be selected for some job. But yeah, if you're persistent and you believe in yourself, it's gonna come for sure.
Yeah, and I
Mm.
think it's great also to have people like yourself, Mathilde, like Templeton, who is open enough and who really listens to the story of people that are a bit different from the usual profile, because it gives a chance. And in terms of loyalty, we talk about hiring the right profile, but the other challenge is the retention of staff.
Mhm.
Companies usually they hire someone and then they train them. So it's never a good idea if that person leaves after a year, because some other companies offer the better wage. Um, in terms of loyalty, I think you cannot find more loyal people than our graduates, because they've been through so much. And if someone gives them a chance, I mean, they're going to work so hard for it. And that is also one point that I think is very important.
Yeah, yeah, and thank you so much for for your nice word. And of course, that's also what why we are doing this job. Is it's not only finding a role and finding a client for the candidate. It's also listening to people, understand people. I think that's at the heart of our job. And uh, and again, it's always nice when we see nice success story. And regarding the other tips that you could give regarding people who face a challenge to find a job when they are just moving to Belgium. In your expertise, is there any skills that are really important to find a job in tech in Belgium, or any other things that are important except the language?
Yeah, definitely. I found that most of the time it's the soft skills that makes the difference. Because a technical language you can always be learned, and especially when it's evolving so fast, company will always ask you to do something or to work in a language that you don't know about, so you need to learn about it. Soft skills, for instance, being flexible, being adaptable, being resilient, are the 3 main soft skills that's going to take you really far.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and, and that is true in the tech sector, but also in all sectors. And it goes both ways, as well as for the newcomers, than for the company that is hiring.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, soft skills is not something that can be always learned compared to hard skill, and it's really important. And also to have a nice to work in a team and everything. It's important to have these soft skills. And regarding your prediction on the market, because we talk a lot about the challenges and what we are facing as women or as diverse talent. Do you have any prediction or how the industry is going to evolve, or what can help the industry to evolve for the better?
Um, I think that now things are very unstable at the moment, after the wave of layoff, the big tech companies. So
Mhm.
now people are more looking for profiles that can adapt easily. that are able to pick up like quickly another language. So what is important is the ability to learn how to learn. And now I do believe that our graduates have an added value because they've been through so many ups and downs, having to learn something new, go to a new country. So they have already taken up many challenges. So they are more fit, in fact, for like a changing environment. And that is something we need to focus on. The other aspect is that companies need to plan, but also on the shorter term, meaning that they need to put up ad hoc trainings for their staff. And not only just say, okay, we want to hire someone with this profile, which doesn't exist.
Yeah.
No one's looking for junior now. Everyone's looking for senior. But before this, the people become seniors, they have to be junior and media. So if they don't exist, we have to train them. And companies need to chip in to co-create for us, for instance, with us, if they have particular profile they need.
Yeah, of course, it's important of both sides, and we see the market is always evolving and changing a lot. We saw it also with COVID when the company adapted to working remote. So I agree that's something really important. And on your personal level, because now you're really happy at Hack Your Future, where do you see yourself in the future? Do you have um, any plan or goals that you want to achieve as a woman in tech?
Yes, I would like first to make HackYourFuture sustainable uh, in the future. So we are good now for the next 2 years in terms of financing, but I need to find some new income stream to make it sustainable so we can continue helping those highly motivated newcomers. My personal goal is also um, to be able to better balance my private life and work because at some point I was so into HackYourFuture that it became my life, and I found myself uh, falling sick every time I will go on holiday with my family. So they were not very happy. And recently I saw a quote from one of the influencers that spoke really close to me. She said, successful people do not manage their time, they manage their energy.
Wow.
So after hearing that, I went straight for a walk this morning because the weather was nice. I'm like, it's now or never. It's been raining for a couple of months now. So I went for a 20 minutes walk, and it was so nice and gave me so much positive energy. And I think this is very important. If you really want to do your job well, you need to take care of your level of energy, positive energy before.
Of course, you need to take care of yourself to be able to do your job well. That's something also I know, because of course when you do a job that is also your passion, sometimes
Yeah.
it's hard to put the boundary, and it's also good sometimes when you work a lot if you enjoy it, of course. And do you have any tips for people who might be watching? How do you to manage both effectively? What would you advise to people?
I think that each person is different. Each family balance is different. So it is important to understand, or at least to identify what your priorities are. Uh, I mean, it's perfectly fine if you decide to be a stay-at-home mom and not to work, if it's your choice. But if you know you've studied, you have all these potentials, it's not going to make you happy later on if you have sacrificed your career for something that later on is not. Of course, it's nice, but it's not. It's a bit frustrating. So know yourself, and once you have identified your priorities, go for it, step by step. Don't give up, and yeah, at the end you will succeed. Um, it takes time. It doesn't happen always when you want it, but in the end, it worked out fine for me. I mean, I was offered a job as a salesperson to work in a cafe. And at that time, I thought, okay, I have a master degree, 10 years in the UN, and I speak 4 languages. So there must be something else I can do.
Yeah.
But if I did not, I don't know where I will be now. Yeah, but it's also meeting, people that gives me energy. So it's important to find someone that is a role model and look up to that person, see how this person has done it, and maybe contact that person and ask for advice. And most of the time, people are very willing to help and giving advice. And that I found is the most useful rather than just applying for jobs.
Yeah, yeah. Connecting to people, talking to people, asking for advice. I think it's sometimes it can be tough to do it when you're not used to it, but it's something that is essential. And I think your last comment so is it's perfect to end this session because I'm conscious of time. The session is ending soon, but yeah, the what we can take off from this is that we need to believe in ourselves, we need to listen to ourselves and not give up, and with all of this then things are gonna come.
Yeah, and hard work.
Exactly,
The
still hard
power
work.
of persistence and resilience.
Yeah,
Great.
perfect. And well, thank you so much for your time. That was really interesting and always nice to hear so about your career and also what is Hack Your Future doing and the success story that you have. And yeah, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you, Mathilde, to you and to Templeton for being so
Thank you
open
so
and
much.
inclusive.
Have a great day.
Yeah, have a great day. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.